Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks.
What up, y'all? We're going to have a discussion today. It's going to be a little different than everybody else's discussion on the internet because I don't know what y'all talking about. Let's get into these celebrities. You can't even have no YouTube show as black folk without talking about somebody from 98. You stuck in 98. In the 90s, was we talking about Dolomite? So that old sit down. Excuse my language. Go on and be old and bald. Oh, they not bald no more because they got the hormones and they got the damn patches, the little you sew on top. The women got the Ozempic, what they call it, Ozempic. They got Oprah out there. She looking 36, 70 years old. Let's talk about it. Can't get old because you ain't got no wealth. You ain't looking forward to no retirement because you ain't got none. Nobody you know got none. So you just gonna hold on to TLC. Fall in because we gonna have this discussion about these 1999 black celebrities and how they 50 years old and they gonna eat this YouTube. They gonna eat you up. They gonna leave you nothing, and they don't give a damn. Sell you this damn. How's everybody doing today? This is Attorney Antonio Moore here to have a discussion. I wanted to have a discussion about this Shannon Sharpe show and the overall YouTube space because I believe that this gambling is basically pushing these shows and they're presented by gambling houses and there's a lot going on we don't know about. I'm not going to speculate beyond what I can actually see, which is they're severely invested in using old nostalgic black stories. Let's get right into the discussion and talk about how a whole generation and a half, like all the latest boomers, like right before the cusp, the ones that couldn't get out, 57 years old, all the way to the oldest millennials that are about 43. Y'all ain't got nothing but celebrity. So y'all sit up on this YouTube and you don't know it's over and you ain't got no money. So we gonna make this Monique from 1999 as Parker's big. And we gonna talk about it over and over again. Can you believe that Katt Williams got done like that on the Friday set or whatever we talking about? We can't talk about Janet Yellen. Biden done forgot who he was when he was vice president. We can't talk about none of it because we got Monique on Shannon Sharpe show. I ain't gonna guess today and I ain't gonna miss. I'm just telling you. So if your feelings get hurt, just leave. Don't chat, don't comment, none of it. So the Parkers, the one that Monique was mentioning, and you know, I'm just putting it in context. That was 25 years ago. I want to make sure everybody understands. That was 25 years ago. So in 2000, that would have been like us just talking about 1975 shit all the time. Didn't happen. They had to go sit down. For those people that say, oh, well, the Parkers is just one part. Precious was 15 years ago. Friday After Next was 22 years ago. After Next was 22 years ago. I'm doing this to set the framework of, I believe there's a severe time-oriented psychosis going on, particularly within the black race, because we don't have wealth. It is a remembrance to a time where we felt like we had potential through celebrity and we didn't understand who the celebrities were. We had Shannon Sharpe, who is going through and grabbing these stories, the new Vlad or whatever, and anchoring a presented by show, presented by DraftKings, who does gambling or parlay bets, I should say, in these shows, and then y'all watch him and don't realize that the first thing he show after his little intro is an ad where he's telling you about the gambling for the Super Bowl. He got the gambling in the corner of the show the whole time. That's that D with the crown, DraftKings. And his cognac is on the table. Got that liquor. And we supposed to be doing uplift about some stories about what happened in 25 years ago, 15 years ago. All right. That's the framework we're going to talk about, but it's because you're stuck in a time machine. I believe Generation X in particular, is Black Generation X, is stuck in a time machine. I believe it's tied to policy. We know about the Telecom Act with Bill Clinton and how that came in and bought all the radio stations and stuck us in 99. They decided that that's it. Steve Harvey, all them folks that was doing shit, You got Gilbert Arenas doing the underdog fantasy, telling us nothing but stories of Dominique Wilkins and Michael Jordan's dunk contest. How long ago was 88? That's like, what's that? That's a lot of years, 30-something years ago. I want to talk about it today because there's a lot going on. Janet Yellen is talking about regulating the crypto, and she's talking about the banks collapsing. Joe Biden can't remember when he was vice president and then gave documents away. We got Donald Trump with a case with the Supreme Court. We can't get y'all to watch none of that on YouTube because you want to watch stories about 25 years ago. And when I say you, I'm talking about people that are like 46, 53. How many people in the chat got an IRA, got a retirement account, got an HSA, a health savings account? I believe part of the reason you're talking about this is life is that bad. This is the escape. To remember when you had all the potential in the world, and they know that. They do the studies. They follow everything. They want to put you back when you were 29. You're not 29 no more. You're 49. They done tapped into your mind. You think you're watching Katt Williams, but you're watching a reflection of the 28-year-old version of yourself. Can I preach today? Can I tell you about the Parkers 25 years ago and about Friday After Next 22 years ago? Now, I'm not saying that a black celebrity that wants to anchor a discussion about politics to what they're talking about can't talk, but they better be talking about some politics. But for those people that think white people doing it too, I got to get real with you and tell you, no, we use social media in the wrong way. Absolutely. They don't do enough studies, but the studies we see absolutely show it. What's happening is that social media is amplifying some of the dysfunctions and also amplifying some of the issues we're having with depression and things of the like. And we're basically servicing that with a bunch of aspiration and following other people's hairstyles and clothes and muscles. Shannon got all the muscles. And how he get muscles at 58 years old or whatever, at 54? Black consumers more likely than the public to look to celebrities when buying. You don't think they don't know that? Uber and DraftKings and black consumers more likely than the public look to celebrities when buying. They got Obama and Michelle Obama, Denzel Washington, Rihanna, among the most influential black consumers more likely to heed celebs' advice on brands. We come back to this show that's selling this gambling, that's anchoring it in inviting old black celebrities, I'll say older, to come tell their tales of when they was young. Somebody said he got a hip replacement. I don't know, man. I mean, it's Shannon. All right. This is going to be a different show. And for a lot of you, it might hurt your feelings, but I can care less because this is going to be the truth. Black consumers more likely than the public to look to celebrities when buying. So they're going to put the shows on the air to tell you about 1998. And you don't realize that that was 26 years ago. So when you see it, you don't realize that they're giving you something else to buy, the liquor and the gambling or whatever else. Presented by DraftKings. If you look in the corner, it'll have the D with the crown. Like I said earlier, when he opens the show, he opens with a 30-second, 60-second ad for the gambling. Presented by DraftKings Sports Betting. Shannon Sharpe interviewing Monique. In my view, these shows are now presented by DraftKings ads to anchor gambling. So I'm saying, in my opinion, these are ads for gambling rather than shows to show content. It's just the way it's set up. It opens with Sharpe giving an ad for the sports betting. Go watch for yourself. Go press play on the Monique interview and wait till right after the little promo he does for his show and see what happens. Go look in the corner of the show and tell me if I'm telling a lie that DraftKings don't sit up there the whole time while you watching, putting that logo in your mind. Then they take them and they keep them young. I ain't into no conspiracies about what people was talking about with Jamie and the new Jamie and all that stuff. I'm just talking about the truth. The truth is, Diddy ain't never had that Caesar from the Caesar chimpanzee beard. He ain't never came out with that. He always got that shaved down or dyed out. Not during COVID. Black America doesn't understand what these 1990s black celebrities did is change hairstyles with black dye. Sherman Hemsley was probably younger than Shannon is right now. When he was bald and on that show at the beginning, you don't realize that they done took away the signals that tell you somebody old. How they do that? They come out with the dye and the wax and all that. Black America doesn't understand what these 1990s black celebrities did is change hairstyles with black dye or weaponize nostalgia as talent. So they got the videos, and now they show you the videos of the Parkers in 20 years, 25 years ago, or Shannon Sharp kept in the past, and you don't that was 25 years ago. Or refuse a next generation of talent access and constantly feed on the next crop's cultural newness. Painting themselves 34 in 98, and then 34 in 08, and then 34 in 2018, and they will do the same in 2028 if you let them. Diddy was allowed to do this because it reflected the desire of a largely wealthless black Generation X to stay forever young. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind. Let me show you something. Just listen to this.
Is an image of George Wendt at 34, and Ashley Fairbanks made some alterations and a good point. However, here's the rub.
Look at Norm.
Alterations don't make Wendt look more like a 34-year-old. They make him look more like a 34-year-old today. Similarly, giving the Golden Girls modern-day hairstyles and makeup drops their apparent age a lot. Superficial styles and mannerisms can often make not just a big difference, but all the difference.
So y'all out here watching Norm from Cheers, the damn Golden Girls, and don't even know it because they done added the frizzle, the little sauce on top. When you add that sauce, all of a sudden, Diddy go from this to this. I want to talk. We're going to get into how they're going to use this to sell that gambling. But in addition, hold on. We forget, who are these people? Where are they getting these people from? Because if you look and you think about two of the interesting points in the Shannon interview of Katt and the Shannon interview of Monique is somehow he got this Monique being in the slow classes, and then he also got Katt to talk about being homeless. Where are they getting these people? How is all the black celebrities living in a car, or they was homeless, or they was not in the slower classes, and we done elevated that like it's a profession of dreams. But then also, how did that get in the interview? Because I bet if he interviewed Tyler Perry, he wouldn't have asked about Perry grew up in poverty and did not complete high school, although he later earned his GED. All right. So we got Monique and Katt and Tyler. And as a stand-up comedian was not a high-earning job back in the 80s, Steve Harvey ended up living in his car as he could not find a home. So we got all these folks. I'm telling you now, to prepare your mind, Generation Z and Generation Alpha, and I'll explain to you in a second what age fits what, they not going to love these celebrities like you do. And all you going to have in your mind is the things these celebrities talk about. And it will not be enough. some of you have to do a deep soul searching about how you listening to this man talk about politics. After he was released from jail, McKelvey, that's Charlemagne's real name, Leonard McKelvey, after he was released from jail, McKelvey, a high school dropout, started attending a school where he took a job as a radio intern. So these are the people who have the aspirational jobs and the wealth in our race. And then they die themselves and keep themselves 30 years, and you think it's just them. It's not a system in place. But I am going to keep you right. I want you to understand this in context of generations, because I am making a generational argument, and you might not understand who you are, where you sit. So many of you are Gen Xers and millennials, which is Gen Y. What's happened is they gave you no wealth. And many of you even went to college. So you went to Spelman, or you went to Morehouse, or you went to UCLA, or even went to Stanford, or you went to Harvard. I got some Harvard. And now what you're going to do is watch Tyler Perry, because he got successful as Medea. And you're going to watch Jay-Z, who also is a dropout drug dealer, self-proclaimed. And that is now your new success, because you can't get no wealth. And they're going to put DraftKings in the corner. So why don't the builders and the boomers, they have Motown, but they put that shit in the right box over here. They say, little music on, turn it off. I don't need to know where they live. You got builders born between 25 and 45. You got boomers born between 46 and 64. You got Generation X born between 65 and 79. You got millennials born between 80 and 94. You got Z born between 95 and 09. And then you got Alpha. Alpha is anybody 0 to 12 years old. So let me put it in age so it's a little easier, roughly. 0 to 12 is Alpha, Generation Alpha. 12 to about 25 is Generation Z. 25 to about 43, 44 is the millennial cohort. 44 all the way to like 58, 56, 7 is Gen X. 58 and above are the boomers and the builders. Everybody in the 58 and above got all the wealth. They don't have all the education, but they have all the wealth because they were born at the right time to take advantage of the post-civil rights, the labor rights, and then they let it all die off. So we got gig jobs in Obama, who took all the who created gig jobs. We'll get to that later. They didn't have no gig jobs. They weren't picking up no hitchhikers for money. But y'all now, because of the lack of wealth, are stuck in a time machine and bouncing back and forth stuff from 25 years ago. I want to slow it down. I'm not going to keep you long. And a lot of the reason is in this chart that I've shown you. How's it there, Tone? Because what has happened is your entire wealth, this little 6 trillion, is almost 70% in the hands of boomers and builders. So y'all done went to college and you don't have nothing. So then you put on the YouTube and then they push down your throat. Guess how and why for yourself. You know, they got the ads in the corner. And so you said, hey, I'm just going to watch this instead, since the white folks have all the good living. Can we talk about it? Can we get to the generations? Your children will not be infatuated with celebrity the way you are. They can video themselves doing a dance. TikTok. Your children will not be infatuated with celebrity the way you are. Them celebrities that they have is going to have to prove themselves a little more. Just my thought. This is my opinion. You know, you can say, well, what about Dirt Dime? Or what about, they're not infatuated, not the way you are. A celebrity like Kobe or Whitney Houston or Michael Jackson could die, and 20 years later, you got a brother in jail and you ain't wrote to him in years, but you remember the day that they died. They got you so wound up, you going down trying to get the jersey. Can we talk about it? All while 44% of Americans overall, so you can guess this is about 60-65% of blacks, can't pay an unexpected $1,000 expense from savings. We're just not wired to save. So now, is the memory of these things, Original Kings of Comedy 24 years ago, an escapism that is forming as a result of the lack of wealth in Gen X and older millennials as the solution and the escape in depression to deal with that. I believe so. That's my opinion. You got these shows that, in large part, they ain't about nothing, that are getting 5 million views. I mean, you got Katt Williams' show with the DraftKings in the corner and the liquor on the table and the DraftKings commercial for gambling with 57 million views. We can only guess, but you can guess. If you took that DraftKings commercial out, whether it still have 57 million views. I don't believe so. That's just my opinion. So, Tone, you telling me this is a problem? Absolutely. I'm telling you that this is the new epidemic that will face Generation Z because they're on the laptops, and a lot of millennials and Gen Xers as they age up and don't have retirement. And that this stuff that you watching ain't no good for you. I don't care what the content got inside, as long as it got that DraftKings in the corner. You can't tell no truth in the middle of a lie. We gonna clear it up. We gonna tell the truth. Put the DraftKings in the corner. Make sure that is blinging the whole time. If we don't, because I know sometimes these topics hurt. I mean, I love me some Michael Jackson and some Kobe and some Monique and some Katt Williams and some Tyler Perry. But do you love yourself though? Do you love your babies to ask the question, can I watch this while it has the gambling in it? So what are you saying, Tone? 60 Minutes does a story on the gambling recently, February 4th. To keep people betting, there are now wagers on every pitch, serve, and snap in real time using AI-powered algorithms. The odds change constantly. Online gambling companies gather detailed data about their users, tailoring promotions and notifications to keep bettors betting. Online gambling companies gather detailed data about their users, tailoring promotions and notifications to keep bettors betting. Let's go back and make sure we're clear. Black consumers more likely than the public to look to celebrities when buying. You don't think DraftKings know that? Or Underdog Fantasy? Or FanDuels? Y'all got 57 million views of this as well. I want to talk. Everybody quiet. Then you got Uber announcing its first year of profitability last year. I'm going to go through the story in a second. So we talk about Katt Williams, then we talk about Monique, but we didn't talk about this Uber. Wait, we talk about Monique and we talk about Katt Williams, and we didn't talk about this Uber. And if you do a show about the Uber, ain't nobody really going to watch because that's not important to me. Whether Monique and Oprah getting along is whether Katt Williams and Steve Harvey is friends. But then they use Jay-Z, in my view, again, my opinion, to sell it to you. They got the commercial with Diddy. You remember that last Super Bowl with Montel Jordan and Khalees. But you also had Jay-Z able to invest early, and y'all celebrated him for making money. But did you understand? Why would they let him invest? Oh, they got to get you to believe in the service. Way back in the day when Uber was still focused on black cars, Jay-Z invested $2 million in a fledgling startup. He invested millions of dollars into a startup of a company that was going to have people, particularly black people, picking up hitchhikers. He actually attempted to wire an additional $3 million, but the funds were returned as founder Travis Kalanick wanted to hang on to as many shares as he could. Yeah, just what I just told you. You have Obama on the cell phone, according to Jay-Z, right? He got Obama on the cell. So Obama's inaugurated in January of 2009. Uber is founded a month later because he got January 21st. We're not gonna give him the whole month. So basically, it's like February to the end of February, and Uber found it. And you got Jay-Z invested in it, and now they profitable. And you got a young child, you ain't did no 529 plan, you don't have no Roth IRA, no traditional IRA, no health savings account. You really don't even have no money because you got to borrow money sometimes. You're using Klarna, and you think that you done set up a world for them while you sit up and watch this with gambling in it. I'm going to say it because ain't nobody on the internet saying it. And I'm telling you now, you're going to come back and say Tone said it first. Don't hide, don't run. Black consumers more likely than the public to look to celebrities when buying. To what extent do you trust the following to give good advice on brands or products? All adults. A lot is this, 26. Black adults jump up 11%, 33%. Black men, 12, 32. A lot, some. Black women, 11, 34. Black media, social media influencers, celebrities. All some. This general public. Look at that low number. 23 for some. Black adults is 35%. So all they got to do is put Snoop on Klarna or have him do a rap song for Grubhub. Or all they got to do is make a show with DraftKings in the corner talking about old black gossip. And y'all going to be there for the party 57 million times. Can we talk about it? I'm just telling you because maybe that wasn't clear when you thought you was coming in here for a party, a celebration of genius. You coming in here for the news you missed watching Monique and Katt Williams. You coming in here to learn what Generation X that are 40-some years old need to learn to protect retirement. Because you don't have none, you ain't protecting nothing. Huh. Uber reports strong ride-hailing delivery growth in 2023. 2023 marked Uber's first full year profit as a public company, according to the Wall Street Journal. They finally got there. Whew. They finally got there. They done learned how to make this profitable, and you are in trouble. Uber Technologies reported today that its revenue grew 15% year over year in the fourth quarter of 2023 and 17% over 2022 for the full year, with net income for the quarter coming in at $1.4 billion. They profitable now. Again, Obama is sworn in January of 2009. Uber launches March of 2009. It cannot exist without his labor secretary, not Congress, his labor secretary making it okay to basically use 1099 to create the gig economy. It is the legacy of Obama, your child driving those gig jobs, or basically all of you doing gig work. But you don't even know all this happened because they're going to slide this news right under. They're going to put this out, and you ain't going to watch that YouTube because you watching this. Keep the light on, baby, for Oprah. What Taraji say? Miss O had it. I told y'all when I did the Taraji show. That don't make, you going to complain that Miss O, she took care of us. Well, I don't need to hear about no light on either, Monique. Ain't no light on. When she brought your brother and your mama out, that's it. We finished, Oprah. But you can't continue in the industry without her blessing because it's set up that way. Huh. Ooh-wee. Oh, man. I want to talk. But I don't want you to think that they didn't know this was going to happen, and nor do I want you to think I'm just telling you anything and that everybody use social media. Everybody follows celebrities. No. This is back in 2011. This is what they found. Why are African Americans more likely to join Twitter? This is what they found at the beginning. African Americans are more likely than whites to use Twitter, and the gap is growing. Experts have attributed the difference in Twitter uptake among white and black users to demographic factors that distinguish the African American community, such as age and above average smartphone use, as well as disparity between social media sites themselves. Yet research provides fresh insight into the forces driving Twitter adoption among users in the black community and suggests that one of the most powerful catalysts is an interest in celebrity and entertainment news. So social media is where we get this celebrity, this nostalgia, this gossip. Yet new research provides fresh insight into the forces driving Twitter adoption among users in the black community and suggests that one of the most powerful catalysts is an interest in celebrity and entertainment news. What I'm saying to you today is that it's gotten to the point where we can't even do politics without giving y'all some sauce on top. We got to give you some Cube or some Killer Mike or some Monique or some, because you can't just do politics on its own. You can't talk about wealth without talking about Diddy. You can't talk about Uber without talking about Jay-Z. You can't talk about life without some of the celebrity in the background. Can we preach today? You think these shows are just shows, but they are ways to keep you from knowing this, the real stuff going on. Come on. Can we talk? Janet Yellen warns of potential failure of non-bank mortgage lenders. Yellen says U.S. regulators are monitoring risk and that a failure of one of them is possible in the case of market strains. Non-banks rely on short-term funding instruments to fund their operations. And you got people talking about opening black banks, and I don't know what they don't know the economics of America. America is a country where we got enough banks, and the banks we got are closing. Look at the stocks that have happened, what's happened over the last week, let alone over the last year. I had to bail them out. You got Biden just today, a few hours ago, making sure you know, because I know some of you are just finishing the Monique interview on Shannon Sharp's channel presented by DraftKings, the gambling. Just in, Biden willfully retained and disclosed highly classified materials when he was a private citizen, but no criminal charges are warranted. So we got Trump done did the same thing, and then we got Biden doing it. Who are we supposed to vote for? Just in, Biden did not remember when he was vice president, forgetting when his term began and ended, says the special counsel. This is what was going on. I'm giving you a little news of what was going on while you was checked out watching Shay Shay and Monique talk about Oprah. And I said to you again, if you are contextualizing a political movement, hey man, if you can get the audience to at least, but if you are just selling, if it's just the gambling and just the story, that ain't it. We ain't here to put one person on, back on, or whatever else. We are here to change everything. The U.S. federal government is on an unsustainable fiscal path, and that just means that the debt is growing faster than the economy. We're borrowing from future generations, says Fed Chief Jerome Powell. So we don't have no wealth, so we not part of the borrowing. We just here the living. We doing the living, and we just gonna let people pass on and leave us with the cost of them living good and having retirement as we leave it for. So silent gen and baby boomers have the wealth. They gonna pass on having had retirement, not work for 20 something years. We gonna get saddled with having no retirement, working till we old, and then Gen Z and Gen Alpha gonna give up working because they realize that they working to pay for people that already passed on, and the retirement that wasn't paid for that they shouldn't have had for all them years. But you don't even know that's going on because you following the gambling and the shows on YouTube. You still trying to figure out, come on, let's go back to it. Let's not just leave it at Shannon, because it ain't just Shannon. How many dunks that Jordan and Wilkins did late at night with Gilbert Arenas and Underdog Fantasy. I want to talk today I want to have the discussion. This is a more complex discussion than just talking about Katt and Monique. Because I still leave that question for you, how we got to the slow classes on Monique. But if we had Tyler on, we ain't going to talk about how slow he might have been in the GED. We're going to talk about his mansion and his nice car and how his nice car led to the mansion and the production studio. Let's talk about that goddamn dropping out of goddamn school and why you here. Why are you here and who put you here? We won't get harsh with Monique. We got a world. How many people seen this story where we following that stuff and your child is not proficient in math? Not a single student can do math at a grade level in 53 Illinois schools. For reading, it's 30 schools. Good Lord. 0 students passed the state math proficiency test at 53 Illinois public schools. At one such school, a prep school designed to prepare for people for medical careers, the per student spending is $47,000. Understand that the California reparations, somebody pointed out that only like 15 or 19% of Black students are proficient in math in LA. Is going to give us reparations that people can't, they're going to give us STEM classes. And understand that UBS recently, this month, said STEM coding is a stranded asset, meaning it don't have a value no more. You're going to give us something that's valueless and that people can't even do no more because they can't do no way because they ain't math proficient. I want to talk. I basically today didn't want to get deep. I'm not here to talk about the elements of Monique and what Katt said. What I'm here today is to say to you, Houston, there's a problem. I'm saying to you that the nostalgia is how you think you're going to get by not having wealth. And all that's going to do is leave you in a perpetual trap. And pretty soon, a trap where most of the people you know probably going to be gambling. This is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.net, subscribe, donate, and share. I just want to hit this subject in my own way. You figure it out on yours.